how to find your own unique voice. This is actually a really cool subject because I get a lot of people that email or message me and say, it seems like whenever I sing another artist's song, I always take on the persona or, the style of that artist, and I can't seem to get away from it. I want to have my own unique voice. Well, guys, I really want you to think about something, okay? It's called influences. We all have them. Without influences, we can't expand our horizons, and we don't have a depth and breadth to the toolbox or arsenal of the different styles and timbre and the different things that we like about voice or songs or singing or bands or whatever. So I want you guys to think about this. I thought the coolest thing ever, if you go down to the Rock Hall of Fame, there's a kiosk there, and you can walk up to it, and you can punch a button that says Aretha Franklin. And it'll go up this chain of who her influences are, and like it'll go to Billie Holiday and blah, blah, blah. And then you can click the Billie Holiday button and it'll show who her influences are. And it'll play all the different artists or snippets of the artists that were their influence. So I remember early on in my career, whatever, my cousin Sammy Hagar, which you probably know I've mentioned a couple times, not to name drop, I'm just sharing information. And, I wanted to sound like Sammy when I was a kid. In fact, before that, I actually wanted to sound like Lou Gramm. So early in the 70s, I wanted to sound just like Lou Gramm. Then I wanted to sound like a cross between Sammy Hagar and David Coverdale. And then there was, of course, Paul Rogers and a lot of the other influences that have helped create and helped me create my own unique voice, quote unquote. But it's fascinating because the more styles that I learned and the more things that I could put in my arsenal, the more I could draw on them for later. And not just in one style, rock or whatever, because in fact, some of my favorite music is R&B. So, I love Wilson Pickett. I love Otis Redding. In fact, you'll hear guys like David Coverdale, big famous rock, singer from bands like Whitesnake and Rainbow, or Deep Purple, excuse me. And he'll say, yes, Sam from Sam and Dave was one of his greatest influences. Or you'll hear songs like Mustang Sally by Wilson Pickett, and you go, oh, wow, that sounds like David Coverdale. Well, that was a big influence of his. Now, he internalized it and represented it to where it became his own thing. Now, I have this series out, how to sing like this person and how to sing like that person. The goal of that series isn't to mimic or impersonate anyone. It's again, just to give you guys a lot to draw from to be able to expand your voice into many different styles. Now, let me put another spin on this from an instrumentalist standpoint. So think about this, guys. Let's say you're a guitar player, which I'm a guitar player. I wanted to be Jimmy Page really bad, right? I got a funny story about that, in fact. I wanted to be Jimmy Page so bad that in the 70s, there was this movie called The Song Remains the Same, and it was playing at the mall theater, and that's back when movies played for a really long time. It wasn't like 3 or 4 weeks of movies in and out. It would play for months on end. So Song Remains the Same was playing. And I'd get up on a Saturday morning matinee and I'd bring my guitar all the way to the movie theater. Now, they wouldn't let me bring my guitar inside the movie theater, so I would check it at the ticket counter, and I'd go in and I'd watch, the live version of the Rain song or the live version of, Song Remains the Same or Stairway to Heaven or whatever. I'd watch snippets, and then I'd run out, I'd get my guitar, I'd try to remember really hard what Jimmy Page did, and I'd go through it, whatever, and I'd do this weekend after weekend after weekend. Because that was one of my influences, right? So was Jeff Beck was an influence. Al Di Meola was an influence. Carlos Santana was an influence. Michael Schenker was an influence for me on guitar. So lots of guys like that. Steve Lukather. And so we would take these records and we play them back. Today, you don't have to go down to the movie theater for hours and hours on end and check your butt. You got YouTube. You get the privilege of having someone like a master and their craft like me for singing or whatever brought right to your doorstep. So what a crazy great advantage is that? So when someone tells me, oh, but it's just so hard and I like this, like that, it's like, it's not as hard as driving down to the La Mirada Mall for hours on end with your guitar trying to learn a few things, licks here and there. So I would just encourage you guys, you have incredible opportunity, and if you really are willing, again, to take the time and go through this stuff that I'm talking about. So you take the total sum of these influences and you represent them for yourself. It may take some time, but a good suggestion, and I don't know if you can do this or not, are 2 suggestions. The first is try to write your own song. Try to write a piece, even if you're not good at songwriting, try to write something where you kind of find yourself in your own music so that you're not impersonating or, again, mimicking someone else. That'll really help a lot, writing your own material. Tremendous, because you can start to find yourself, what you like about music. In fact, you might even have influences that are, let's say, jazz-based, but you're not planning on being a jazz singer. However, there are elements of something, maybe in something in jazz that you like, that you can represent in your own art and craft, okay? Now, one last thing is that if you can't write your own music or whatever, take a song that is unusual for you to sing. Let's say, you're a rock guy and you would sing a pop song. Well, you could sing your rock song, or the pop song, in a rock style, and then you start to find out, wow, okay, I'm not going to emulate Michael Jackson because I just don't sound like him, but I can sing a song like Dirty Diana or whatever and do it in my own way, and it becomes my own interpretation, right? My own artistry, my own craft, or finding my own unique voice. All right, hope this is helpful. Let's continue.